I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz. What's up, everyone? Did you guys vote?
Did
you got your
vote?
stickers?
If you didn't vote, stop watching this, go vote, and then come back to us.
Exactly. Just real quick, run down there, put your vote in, make your voice heard, and then come back and listen to us, where we make our voices very heard. I think, needless to say.
We don't know why we're still here.
We don't. We really don't. Every time before and after air, we talk about this. Yeah. Well, welcome, guys. Saturday Night Live after show. We're going to be talking all about the John Mulaney episode with musical guest David Byrne. I'm Amy Maestri. I'm a writer, comedian, producer, and I love to talk about SNL with our comedy connoisseur, badass woman over here, Steph Sabra.
Hello. Also a massive John Mulaney fan, so.
Yes. We were texting hard earlier about all of our John Mulaney love.
Yeah, you trying to ask me what I said via text? Okay, I'll say it.
Low-key.
I texted Amy and I go, if John Mulaney wasn't married, I would climb him like a monkey. And I really mean that.
I just wanted to make sure that got out there.
Wait, I truly respect the marriage. She's probably like the best human ever.
Nice save.
Thanks.
Coming in strong. Guys, we're going to be breaking down all of the sketches from the night. We're going to be talking about what we liked, what we didn't like. We'll talk about the musical guest. We'll do our special segment called Anatomy of a Sketch, where I break down one of the sketches, talk about what worked, what didn't, what I liked about the structure of it, just kind of get into like the core of a sketch. And then I think we might have some news and gossip. Super low-key, very quiet news and gossip where nothing really happens.
The major news and gossip is that both Amy and I are not feeling well today, so we both might have the coronavirus. So.
Yeah, so I mean, just in case. I know this is a whole running joke on updates. So.
I know it's really not funny, but since we're on the SNL after show, we can just say anything.
Right? It's on brand for Che's rant.
Yeah, it's Che's rant inspired me.
When in doubt, blame everything on Michael Che.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Yes.
As the saying goes. Obviously, John Mulaney, huge expectations going in, former writer, amazing host. You know there's going to be some musical numbers. How were you looking at it versus expectations versus how you thought it went?
Expectations are always high with him. I got everything I needed. I really wanted the monologue to be spectacular, and I wanted a singing sketch, and I got both of those, so I can't complain.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that. I am a wealth of information today, guys. Let's talk about the cold open. Oh, and actually, one of our viewers, Joanne Cheser on Twitter, was talking about why it's called a cold open and just kind of why there's that name for it. And I thought that was interesting because I was like, oh yeah, I don't really know. Like, it's been a phrase that's been around for a long time that's basically, because I mean, shows use it too, sitcom, drama, anything just basically to present the world to the audience. So whether it's the cold open from a TV show and it's the first 2 minutes before they do credits or something like that, it's still that like moment where they get to introduce the world of that episode or of that sketch or whatever it is to everyone else. So I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of a cool question.
Yeah. Me like. Also, shout out to Rollercoaster Writer in the chat. You said that you had jaw surgery on Friday and that you need some laughs. We can do that. And I hope your jaw feels better, bro. That sucks.
Oh, man. Is the laughter going to hurt? I feel like that would hurt. Uh-oh.
Hopefully you have some, like, nice medicine.
Yeah. Hopefully Steph's like, toss some of that nice medicine my way.
Yeah.
Rollercoaster Rider, what up? We hope we do our jobs today then.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this cold open.
Okay. Let's get into it. I thought, of course, they had to do one on the coronavirus and the response by our government officials. And I love that they played into Mike Pence not believing in science and taking the lead on the coronavirus, which, in fact, will involve science. So I thought that was amazing. And I love the Biden. I love the Biden bit in it. And
yeah.
Those were my main things.
I feel like they did a really good job of tackling the subject at hand while also still almost in the style of when they do the debate sketches, kind of dig into each candidate too. Like they have the overall idea of that, of the coronavirus and how they're handling it, but then also like, you know, took a couple jabs at Bernie, took a couple jabs at Biden, had Warren just off a rocker.
Yeah, she's like, I might be fifth in the polls, but
I loved her ongoing everything she's blaming Bloomberg for, that it just kept getting crazier and crazier, and that she's just with him always now. Yeah, I think a lot of the specifics in it were great. The lines, like the test of my faith, like dinosaur bones or Timothy Chalamet. They had so many good specific lines in it.
that was so good because definitely Mike Pence is fantasizing about younger boys.
Yeah, I think as far as like standout lines too, that one and with Bernie, I think Larry David's delivery on it is just so good when he had to back up and say, you know, okay, now might be unpopular opinion, but you know who was great at washing his hands? Joseph Stalin. His delivery on that was worth everything in that cold open.
Wait, and John Mulaney was so good in this one when he popped out. And what was the line about why he looked different? I forget, but it was really. I love when they call to the obvious.
Yeah, they really do a good job with it. So I was a fan of the cold open. Got it off to a good start.
And John Mulaney is like the one person who just will not change his voice, and it's so funny because we have Keenan who tries to change his voice and it doesn't always usually work, and then John's just like, screw it. This is my voice.
That's such a good point. Everyone's doing these like killer impressions. You have Keenan try for like 3 seconds and then give up, and John Mulaney's like, nope, this is John Mulaney here. And a Joe Biden wig. Good call. This monologue. Our boy always love when a stand-up is there and they rock the mic. They come out with the mic, holding it, give a proper monologue.
Yes.
I know you were saying how you're going to be watching this on repeat later. What were some of your favorite things about
I'm definitely going to rewatch it. I felt like we just got a full set. Like it was like 10 minutes about. It was a really long monologue, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the part where he goes, most people actually don't know who I am. I just have a really loyal fan base who cares. And I feel that deeply because so often I find myself being gushing over John Mulaney and his various stand-up specials and his shows and everything he does. And people are like, who? And I'm like, what? What do you mean, who?
Yeah. He is so unique. And you know what's funny is that every time I've been watching him, whether it's a monologue on SNL or one of his specials, if it's with a friend who doesn't know who he is, they'll always go, who is this guy? And by the end of it, they're in tears. And they just want to know everything about him because he's just so universal in his stand-up.
Yeah.
Like, this monologue is a great example of just, like, such weird observational comedy. He is a master of observational comedy, and his cadence and his pacing and everything he delivers with his jokes. Like, he was talking about boomer dads not having friends, to being World War II experts, to like, hey, how do you think they came up with the order of the amendments?
Oh my gosh, that was so good. He's like, guns! More guns! And I always think about that so much. That whole part where he just read the American government for filth and the founding fathers and being like, actually, I'm not that into them.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way when you really look at them as whole-bodied humans as opposed to kind of the cool shit that they did.
Yeah.
You're like, no, you weren't that great. You did a lot of awful things, aka racism. So where do we go from here? And just the way that we order things is so. What is number 3?
Yeah, the fact that he just like was thinking about that one night was just like, yeah, that's not right, and then wrote this great bit about it. And if anyone's confused as to what Steph was saying when she said that that he read them filth, you can refer back to the RuPaul episode and the sketch on the library where you get a nice little.
You get read.
You get read on drag culture.
And then come find me because I will read you. And I love the part where he goes, where he just stops the first bit and goes, and onto a completely separate discussion. Like, he just flips it.
He just lives so strongly in everything that he says. And I just, it's always great when the monologue, you feel like it goes by in 2 seconds. You're so ready for the episode, but you're also like, wait, no, I wanted so much more.
I know. I did want more.
But alas, we got onto The Sound of Music. Rolf and Liesel, love story for the ages, the 49-year-old and 16-year-old.
Was this accurate to the movie? I haven't seen the movie in years.
I think it was just that he straight up did look like he was like 40.
Wait, Jeff, do you know that? What's the movie called again?
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music.
Wait, also, Steph, you're canceled forever that you forgot the name of the Sound of Music.
Sorry.
You're totally fine.
Hey, everyone just forget the past 20 seconds just happened. Okay, let me restart. Jeff, are you familiar with the Sound of Music? And do you know if Liesel was dating a way older man?
Okay, so Rolf and Liesel. This is bad. I just made fun of you for not knowing the Sound of Music, and I'm
Listen,
forgetting.
those seconds didn't happen, and here you are bringing up fake time codes.
Oh, I'm just teasing my panel. Yeah. So I think Liesel was 16 and Rolf was 18, right?
It was because she was 16 going on 17. He was 17 going on 18 is the actual song. But he did straight up look like an old man, kind of.
He looked like a used condom.
So an old man used condom. Rolf. Exactly.
AKA
that was, I think,
Nazi.
I'm pretty sure they wrote that in the treatment for The Sound of Music.
Yes.
This character will look like a used
Future
condom.
Nazi needs to be represented in condom wear.
Obviously. I loved that right off the bat we got a musical number. We knew we were going to see something to the effect of Diner Lobster and Bodega Man, which we'll obviously get into later. But I was happy to see a couple different musical numbers out of this. What did you think about this one overall, other than him looking like a condom?
Great. I love this one. I thought it was a really, really strong first sketch. I thought Cecily was so fun in it.
Yeah.
And I love when they just expose something you didn't really think about. Obviously, they exaggerated, which is the point of comedy. But I thought it was executed great.
I like the fact that it started off, too, with, like, that observation where they kind of, like, bring you out of it, where she's just like, oh, yeah, and the captain made me sing in front of a bunch of people in my nightgown.
Oh, yeah.
And you think about it, and you're like, oh, my God, yeah, she's like this 16-year-old girl who was, like, parading around in her nightgown for all the fans.
I swear parents do that, though. Even, like, more so back then, but even now, it's like, I have a child, so now I can parade them around when I want. Sing for me, darling. Like, what? I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I loved all this. You can tell Mulaney had a big hand in writing this. He's such a musical fan. He's so smart, too. He, like, references so much, like, historical things in his stuff, too. And I just loved the line that it's 1930 bad. And if this is the worst thing you think is coming, then get ready.
Buckle in.
So next we have Uncle Meme was the next sketch. And Steph, I wanted to talk to you about this a lot because I know you call out that SNL's done a really good job lately of trying to incorporate like the younger generation and have jokes and bits that are going to be like directed towards them.
Yeah.
So what did you think about this? Did it connect on this?
Yeah, I didn't think that the punchlines were that good. I thought just in general, a kid making a meme out of their uncle is really funny. I love the premise, and I thought Chris Red was really good in this, and Chloe, and John, but I didn't love the wording wasn't as funny as I think they could have. A few of them were pretty good, but some of them didn't hit that hard.
You know, I completely agree. I think the things that I found funniest were Mulaney's reactions when he was like, I smash, I have a kid. Like his outrage and his reactions after he read them. I think those were the funniest parts for me.
Not the memes.
Yeah, but I do think it was a cool idea, and that picture. Come on. What a great picture. This is one of those moments we always talk about behind the scenes would be so cool to see. I would love to see not only the pitch room for all the pitches for the different things that the memes were going to say, but also the photo shoot of how many different looks they had him do and how this one came to be like, no, that's the memeable uncle.
And I love that they had, and even Ice-T retweeted it. So good.
So next sketch, it's, I'm going to throw to you again because it's your boy Kyle getting jacked. What did you think about the new look on Kyle?
The level of self-awareness of that man is next level. He just knows what his position is on that cast, and he's totally happy with it. And I thought this sketch stretched a little long, but I do love what the makeup was so perfect. He looked so gross but buff, and I loved the reaction by the cast walking like, oh, okay, Kyle, what's going on? And then I thought the ending was great. Them being like, actually, we're going in a different direction with the awkward guys.
Yeah, exactly. Your self-awareness point is great. I always remember one of my sketch teachers talking about how that's why Will Ferrell was so good, because he was so fully self-aware, but also didn't care at all what he looked like, what his face looked like, what his body looked like, and just put everything into it. And like Kyle's self-awareness kind of reminds me of that, of just being able to go like full in on everything and know that like this is me, this is who I am, and I'm going to use it to my advantage in every single sketch. And yeah, my God, props to makeup.
So good.
I would love to see how long it took to, and I mean, especially by the end, but like, man, those arms, they're so creepy.
So creepy.
It's
and
terrifying.
The jaw, which they obviously got from Kate McKinnon's.
Oh, yeah. It's, or actually, no, probably when they did Mueller, too.
Yeah, Mueller and what's his name? One of the most awful guys in the Senate.
There's so many.
Not Turtle.
Jordan?
No, red-faced. I'll think of it.
We'll get there.
I'll get there.
If
Also,
anyone at home knows.
Quick behind-the-scenes tidbit. I just pulled up Louis Zakarian's Instagram, who does all the SNL makeup, that kind of stuff. Really fun Instagram to follow in case you guys aren't. It's like a total
Yes.
insider's look. The caption is, when you find out at 11 p.m. Wednesday night you need to cast and sculpt and apply a muscle suit and prosthetic job by 4 p.m. Friday, sleep is so overrated. Great team effort getting this done in time.
No way.
Damn.
Pretty
That's
cool.
so fun.
The machine of SNL is what's
It's
so
crazy.
cool. Obviously,
Yeah.
the cast is incredibly talented, but we'd be remiss not to mention how unbelievable their crew, above the line, producers, all of that stuff's just incredible.
It's so true.
Dude, good call, yeah, because when you think about what they put on every single, well, not every week with weeks off, but like in a week, like we talk about with the cast not knowing what the sketches are going to be until the last minute. No one else does either, you know? So whether it's props or makeup or wardrobe, whatever you're doing behind the scenes, it's all so fast-paced and so last minute for them.
Yes.
Last one, I would be remiss if I didn't call this out because it flatlined as a joke, but I thought it was hilarious. I think it was 80 who said he's so hot he's going to get put in every comedy sketch. I died, and I was so mad that no one else did because I just thought that was such a funny line because it is so called out that like so many male comics are just like not that attractive.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, you're hot. You'll definitely get put in comedy sketches now.
So funny. So funny.
We'll be saving the next sketch, the Admiral, which is a recurring sketch. I'm going to be doing that for the Anatomy of a Sketch, so we'll do that at the end of the show. So let's talk about musical guests. Let's talk about both the performances. David Byrne, formerly of the Talking Heads, he was just having the time of his life up there.
I know. I loved the first performance. I thought that. Sorry. Justin, Rollercoaster Rider, just sent me a meme. I'm going to try to get it into the producer's booth. Thank you for sending that via Twitter. That was quick. I thought the first performance was such a good nostalgic moment. I loved it. I felt like I was at a theater.
Yep.
And he just really, really, really performed well, and it was really fun to watch.
I love, too, that it was him and this amazing group of just such a diverse crowd of people dancing, singing, playing instruments, and just like literally running around stage like children, having so much fun. And it was just great to see that as a performance, and also the fact that it was such a diverse group of just everyone was
I
up there.
agree. And this was his return after 31 years.
So
which is
cool.
So cool to have that extensive of a career where you can come back and be 67 years old and perform like that.
Yeah, for real.
Amazing.
For real. Let's talk about Weekend Update. Our boys.
Michael Che, I need a glass of alcohol to match Michael Che's energy because good God was he funny. And the crowd was so receptive this week.
Maybe that's the key, is he just needs to act like he's drunk for people to not get mad at him.
It's like not that serious. For some reason, when he says the joke, it's so serious.
Yeah, so maybe that's the key. He's just got to be drinking whiskey the whole time.
I thought it was so funny. I thought that my favorite part about Weekend Update was Michael Che's just his entire bit on the coronavirus.
Yeah. The whole thing, like the runner that he just had going through the whole thing on that. I also loved, I think it was the last joke of the night too, was Ash Wednesday, the day that white people are allowed to do a little bit of blackface. Did you have any other
And the ending where he goes, I'm Michael Che, I'm Catholic, good night.
Good night. And once again, some of the funniest moments and the saddest were also the clips of our president just speaking and being him and saying things that you would never imagine, like ordering different elements of medical.
Like, what?
It's sad when week after week I'm like, some of the funniest things that also just make me so sad after are just clips of him talking.
This is why you all need to get your booties to the polls.
Yes. Vote it up. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about ordering different elements of medical
for 4 more years.
Another 4
please,
years.
don't make me do this. Please.
Or also, we're going to be having jokes like this, at least of Eric Trump made a trap to find the Charlamane bears instead of the grizzly.
Can you believe, sorry, just on this voting day.
Let's do it.
That it's been 4 years. I can't believe that we've made it through. Like, my dad always told me at the beginning when we found out who won, he's like, we'll get there. Like, don't worry. And I truly thought the world was going to end. And I'm happy to say it hasn't. But it is a little funny that we are getting this coronavirus right before. So who knows if we'll make it.
Yeah, it's just a quick warning. I think it's nature's way of just being like, do something about this.
Knock, knock.
You guys do something about this at the polls,
Wait, this
or I
picture
will.
is incredible.
Oh, wow. That is, speaking of terrifying. And also with Eric and Don Jr., I'm ready for some more Mikey and Alex to come back for Don Jr. and Eric, too. Let's segue to one of the best people, after talking about some of the worst people, Chris Redd.
Yes.
Talking about Black History Month. We always are like, where's more Chris, more Chris, more Chris? And then we got him in such the best fashion ever.
The best. I feel like he should have done this for all 4 weeks of Black History Month. But Ego had a good one too. I thought this was so funny. There were so many specifics pointed out of why they deserve another month, and it definitely won't be April 1st. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, his rant about the Harriet Tubman on the Visa card.
Is that for
doing
real?
Wakanda forever? I've seen the picture, and yes, he's just like, Wakanda wasn't real. It looks like she's going back into slavery. I just thought every single joke he did hit for me.
Yeah, like we wish we had Wakanda back then, so Harriet Tubman wouldn't have to be the hero that she was.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Oh yeah, every piece of that hit for me though. And then you know what? We get to talk about airport sushi. This is a follow-up to his original Diner Lobster and Bodega Man. For those of you who don't know, Diner Lobster was the original one. He wrote it years ago when he was a writer on SNL. It didn't make it to air, which is insane. Insane. It never made it to air, so when he came back to host, he got to get that up there, and it was huge. It was insane. So then he went on to do the Bodega Man, and now we have sushi, or airport sushi at where else? Of course, LaGuardia. The worst airport ever.
The worst airport, also so close to all of the what was I gonna say? I forget what I was gonna say.
It's okay.
I had notes of why that was even funnier. I'll try to find it.
You'll get there.
Anyways, love this reoccurring sketch. I was waiting for it, and I was kind of worried. Jeff asked me if we got one. I didn't really count. The Sound of Music was obviously a singing one, but this is the one that I was waiting for.
Yeah.
And we got it, and I thought it was so good. It involved so many cast members, and it was so disgusting because if you ever ordered sushi from not like a sushi restaurant at the airport, even that's kind of sketch, but from the stands, disgusting. That's like Jeff, our producer, who gets sandwiches from 7-Eleven, and I don't understand.
I love a gas station tuna fish salad, and I gotta say,
that's what you get.
Tuna?
I'll do a gas station tuna fish
No.
sandwich. And I gotta say, I haven't seen this sketch yet, but I got into a legitimate fight with my wife because I am like all in on airport sushi. So the fact that this is a sketch, I can't wait to watch it with Laura. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, Jeff, how are you still alive?
It's good for the immune system if you eat it. I
Jeff,
think
your stomach must be just hell.
Oh,
it's just resilient. I'm doing a whole 30 cleanse right now because I know all of our fans care
Wow.
about that. So I'll keep talking about it. How's that?
Wow.
Oh man, props to you, my man. I don't know how you do it.
Maria Bamford, to shout out comedy people, also loves a gas station tuna fish sandwich. So if she
There you
likes it,
go.
I'm all in.
All right, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Also, hashtag Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes. Seriously, I love just seeing him pop in here.
It's so funny because I actually, a few nights ago, just watched End of Watch, and I just love him so much.
There we go. And I loved so in this one we got Phantom of the Opera, West Side Story, Annie, more West Side Story, Wicked, Little Shop of Horrors. So So I like that he's like changing it up a little bit with a couple others. And my gosh, the mix of just like taking it from the disgustingness of airport sushi and then on to just the disgustingness of LaGuardia in general and how much is wrong with it. All the little specifics in there were great. Bowen coming out as the profiled Asian singing to Suddenly Seymour.
Oh my gosh, so good.
So many great moments in this, and it's one of those things that you just want to watch over and over again. And I love whenever there's a musical number that ends with the cast like dancing out into the audience. It's just fun.
It is.
I'm going to enjoy it no matter what. Mm-hmm. And last sketch of the night we had was Forgotten Figures of... Oh, yeah. I forgot I'm doing the segment. Forgotten Figures of Black History before we do Anatomy of a Sketch. What did you think about this one?
I like this sketch. Yeah, I feel like there's so many better Black History Month sketches we could have hit, but... It was good.
Yeah. I think it was okay.
Fine.
It was end of night sketch, typical. It's something that's going to get a few laughs out of it. I think the idea of it is it's one of those things where the premise I find funny, and then I just don't know if it needed a full sketch after that. But end of night sketch, it's you get what you get. And I still keep saying it. I still really want to have Ego find a reason for her to do her Maya Angelou impression. And I'm like, if we couldn't get it during Black History Month,
what's happening?
When are we getting it?
Yeah.
When are we getting it? Come on.
We riot at dawn.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Let's do an Anatomy of a Sketch.
Yay! My favorite part. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Grab yourself a nice little glass of wine, whiskey, whatever you like. So the sketch, The Admiral, originally was The Corporal, reoccurring sketch with Kate and Adie. Obviously, anything with the two of these girls, it's just going to be their chemistry makes the sketch. But I wanted to talk about this one this week because structurally, this was like a very sound sketch. You could really clearly see all the different beats. You could see how it moved. You could see how it escalated. It was one of those things that, like, visually, if you could see it up on a whiteboard, this would be like a perfect thing to watch. Immediately, you understand where they are, what's happening, their relationship with each other, that they're these two sisters that are fighting over an admiral who's going to be coming to town, and they want to have the most attention. So they start exchanging, saying, oh, well, let me help you with this. And then it's just obviously weapons to try to kill each other. And that as a sketch on its own, there's nowhere for it to go. You can only do so much of that. It's funny when they escalate it to bigger and weirder and crazier things. So that's where the escalation starts, but it can't just be that. They have to figure out where to take it from there. But it does set up the relationship between the two sisters and what's going to be happening in the whole sketch. And then in the second beat, you have the twist of the Admiral coming in and immediately being attracted to their younger brother, Julian. So there you get to see it take a bit of a turn, and the sisters have to kind of team up at that point. I almost went into Ancestras for any Orphan Black fans. Almost instead of sisters, went with sestras. But once they got to see that he was in love basically with the younger brother, the game kind of shifted into them needing to find a way to get the attention back on them. And then, of course, once the Admiral leaves, they add the element of John Mulaney getting really physical with it. And getting into all these positions of saying, like, oh, well, is this better? And of course, it's like him sticking his ass out in the air and doing all these things that are inadvertently sexual. And so the way that they kind of take you through this sketch is great because it doesn't stay on that same level, and it also doesn't stay on that same beat for too long. Because oftentimes too many sketches will do that where they're like, this is a funny thing. And then they just keep doing it too long and they never go anywhere else, and it loses a lot of comedy at that point. And then again, the specifics and those little lines of when did our pesky little brother get gay hot and things like that are good laugh out line lines. And then, of course, getting to the escalation of shooting off his clothes by the end of it, bringing it back to their like weird weapons that they always have around to kill each other with, shooting off his clothes, and the nice button at the end of the Admiral coming back in and just saying, oh, well, who will you choose? The twink! And then that's it. So I love the ending of it. The sketch never goes too long. It goes on enough different planes to keep it interesting. And of course, and Mulaney was great in it as the little brother too. So probably one of my favorites of the night, but I just think structurally it was such a sound sketch.
I could not agree more. I loved it. You guys, I am so in love with Amy. It's crazy. I love this segment. When they were shooting off his clothes, I want that to happen in real life. I was like, I want to have that sort of weapon.
Yes.
That doesn't harm. It just rips off pieces of clothing. Except only women could have this because, and only few women, but definitely no one else because you guys would abuse this.
Yeah, no one else is allowed to get that.
I would use this consensually.
And only on John Mulaney.
And furthermore, only on John.
Oh man, and I hope they keep doing those, but I like that they're spacing them out too. It's not too they're not doing them too close together, so they're not like burning out on them yet, which is nice. And then so I think to round out the night, do we have a little do we have news and something,
do we
something about gossip or?
This is breaking news! I've been told not to yell into the microphone, so I will try my darndest to keep it low for you.
She backed away.
After criticizing his SNL co-stars, yes, I'm talking about Pete Davidson, he skipped the show's after party this week. Whoa, why is this a big deal? Because every single week, the entire cast and everyone else who showed up, like Jake Gyllenhaal, goes to this after party. So, last week, he was he was on a public radio show and said, I don't know if I'm the joke or I'm in on the joke, and saying that he doesn't think his castmates like him. Why would you do this, Pete?
I know.
Side note, Pete Davidson does have his new special out on Netflix. It doesn't address any of these issues other than Louis C.K., who he made a jab at him that says that when he was a respected comedian, he did not like Pete Davidson and wanted him fired on SNL. So the tea is piping hot! And this is my last time yelling!
Oh man, you know what? If Pete wants to go in on Louis C.K., that's fine.
Me too.
That's fine.
Just why would you do that, Pete?
Yeah, it seems like a strange thing to do, especially when you're in the middle of a season and you have an episode coming up in a couple days. I'm not quite sure what his thought process was on that one.
It's like you wanted to be cool in front of Charlamagne, and that's what I feel like happened, and you didn't realize that. First of all, that's one of the most watched radio shows.
Yeah.
Second of all, why would you ever do that to your cast members that you're going to see this weekend?
Yeah, and on a show that made your career.
Yeah.
He was doing stand-up, and he was doing well with stand-up, but, that really put him into a different level, so... Also,
why don't you ask them if they don't like you? How old are we? Like, if I think someone doesn't like me, I'm like, what's the beef, bro? You want to... settle this? I don't go on a radio show and say, they don't like me.
I want Steph to give a TED Talk now about, like, how to approach people where you can just go, like, hey, what's up, bro? You got beef? And then that's it. That's
you want to fight?
That's the whole TED Talk.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Welcome to my TED Talk where we stop being passively aggressive.
Overall, liked the episode. It wasn't the best for John Mulaney, but I think every sketch brought something to it, and he was excellent in everything, as always.
Rollercoaster Rider sent me another meme. I need a way to get these posted. These are so funny, but what did you say, my sweet Amy?
my sweet Steph. Great episode. Pretty good overall. Love Mulaney. Next week we have Daniel Craig and The Weeknd. In the meantime,
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, get a little
I'm so
007.
here for that.
A little 007 action.
Yes, Daniel Craig. So many funny sketches that could come of that. The Weeknd, I hope he does some sketches as well. Yeah. Because he actually was an Uncut Gems. So he might have some acting chops for us. I'm Steph Sabra. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabra. And so sorry for zoning out on you.
It's okay. We've been zoning out all day, I think, just on and off.
It's the coronavirus.
It is. It's getting us all. But we'll see you guys next week. I'm Amy Maestri. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Amy Maestri.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.